let me put this in slideshow mode. And I'm really grateful to be here today with all of you. This is our first of hopefully a quarterly series. We'll do this event on a quarterly basis to share our product strategy and our product roadmap. So as to get you started in terms of an agenda today, we'll do a quick introduction for Benji and myself. I'll walk you through some product strategy concern topic, and then we'll share our product roadmap for the next couple of quarters. And then have two of the product managers give you some quick previews and demos. And then Benji will close us up with some suggestion on how we can work together better and getting your feedback where needed. So in terms of introduction, I joined Concord 6 months ago in December, at the end of December. I have about 30 years of experience in the tech space and product specifically. I was most recently with a company called PandaDoc in the e-signature space and as a SVP of product. And as you can hear from my accent, I was born and raised in France. I never shed that completely, but I've been living in the US all my adult life. So I was in San Francisco, the Bay Area for the most of it, and then moved to New Mexico with COVID as a COVID refugee in 2020 and loving it up here. So that is me. And and then Benji will introduce himself.
Hi, Benji Orlansky, head of customer success here at Concord, not just here to talk about hot dogs. I've been here since March, so just a few months, but have been leading customer-facing teams at various software technology companies for over 10 years. My team is one that many of you on this call likely interact with on a very regular basis. Your customer success managers, your support team, we're basically here to make sure that you are getting the value out of Concord, you're getting value out of your partnership that you signed up for and more. We work very, very closely with the product team. A lot of pretty much everything you're going to see today is largely based on product feedback that we receive from actual customers. And so it's really crucial that our product and CS organizations here within Concord are working really closely together. I haven't had as much chance to get FaceTime with as many of you as maybe I would like since March. So I really wanted to introduce myself and make myself available as a resource for anybody on this call. If you have any feedback, want to learn more about what we're doing and maybe need any additional training, any additional access, feel free to reach out to me directly. Prior to this, I was at a company called Kojo, which is construction materials management, so very verticalized, but also very much based in workflow management and connecting different companies or different organizations, different departments within a customer base. So I love what we're doing here at Concord. I've been in Austin for the past 15 years. Prior to that, I did grow up in Mississippi, which maybe you can tell in an accent from me. It's not quite as pronounced as Bernard's French accent, but really pleasure to see all of you, and hope to work closely with everybody going forward.
Great, thank you, Benji. So let's dive in product strategy as a first topic. The way we've analyzed the market and we think of the CLM market at Concord today is that so far it's a very early adopter market. It's really definitely not a tool that the majority of businesses use. Most companies today are looking at still creating agreements with an endless number of tools, starting with Microsoft Word or Google Docs. And, while a large majority now, especially with the acceleration of COVID, have adopted e-signature, the reality is most agreements are stuck in, people's inbox and, shared drives and so forth. And most importantly, we see very, very few companies and very, very few customers that extract, business data or metadata outside, from those documents to do any type of, analysis and looking for insights. This is really the very select few. So this is the way we think of the current state for the majority of the market. Of course, it's not a reflection of your personal situation. It's just the analysis, the aggregate analysis. Where we see CLM headed, by contrast, is as a new wave of adoption of the technologies where if you look back, 20 years, we were, just getting started with digital. It was really about creating, digital documents, and most famously, Adobe Acrobat was, one of the emerging standard for this. It moved in the, past the dot-com era, it moved into the cloud storage view of the world, where AWS and others came about. And then more recently, DocuSign was started in 2008. The e-signature, wave came to life, and that was really accelerated with COVID. I was part of that wave when I was at PandaDoc. We saw that really massive explosion, especially in the SMB markets in 2020 and so forth, where today probably, not everyone, but 70-80% of businesses use some type of a e-signature tool. When we look at what's coming next, we think about it as agreement intelligence. And it's not just a play on word on AI, like everybody wants to do for the last couple of years. It's really thinking about how do we turn those documents into something that is more useful and more valuable to a business. And it's really fundamentally thinking about the life cycle of what happened with those documents after they've been signed. So they've been created, they've been negotiated, they've been signed. So what's next? And we capture this, and we are thinking of this as agreement intelligence, as this everything that happens after the signature, because it's really, of course, it's about storing those agreements after they've been signed, but it's also primarily tracking deadlines, reminders for renewals and so forth. It's giving you access to those documents easily and fast with powerful search. It's accessing the data inside those documents that is relevant, and we'll share more details on that as we walk you through the roadmap. And then next from there, it's like once all of that metadata is created, what type of reports can we give you that provide you some insights on your business that you couldn't get access to before. And so for some simple examples are, what contracts are critical to your business operations, based on the SLAs that you might have agreed to in those contracts. What are the opportunities that you have in all the agreements that you have in terms of renegotiating terms based on some external factor that you would have also set? What are, if you're thinking about, you have a challenge of compliance and audit, what are, the contracts that are relevant for that whatever compliance topic that you're dealing with? All of these are everyday operational questions that companies face, and where having a strong CLM solution will give you the tool to get to the answer faster and better. So what we think of by focusing on this, what we think that is we are strengthening the core product pillars that have made Concord successful over the last 8 to 9 years. Many of you on this call have been using Concord for several years. And what you've told us repeatedly is what makes Concord powerful for you is that it's easy to use, right? It looks like Google. It's familiar interface. It's also very insightful because we give you access to what you need quickly, and then it grows as you grow. Not only the product, but the pricing, the business terms that we have, our license agreement, allow you to expand as you need and not overspend the initial investment. So we'll continue in that tradition, with our product strategy. Before, Ben, if there are any questions in the chat that are relevant to whatever section, I'm not able to monitor the chat at the same time. So don't hesitate to jump in and help guide if there are questions. Yeah. If not, we'll go into the product roadmap.
Mm-hmm. I've not seen any questions in the chat right now, but yeah, like I said at the beginning, if you want to ask anything in the chat, or there's also a Q&A section down there, I'm going to be monitoring that. So feel free to drop them in, and I will let the hosts know.
Great. Thank you. On the product roadmap, the way I joined in December 6-7 months ago, and what we've done is we restructured the thinking and the teams around what we call the speed to value becoming our North Star. What we realize is that all of you are resource constrained and time constrained, and the speed at which we get you to value is what's most important. And this is a holistic, statement, but it really is guiding, the thinking, the discussions, and the decision that we make around, are we helping you get to value? And if not, we deprioritize the potential work against other opportunities. And we are looking at that across the three main stages of usage of the product, which is the initial stage where you are a new customer. You're going to do a lot of setup, configuration, onboarding, and especially potentially ingesting a lot of agreements that have been signed previously using a variety of tools, to the second stage where it's really a lot of everyday type usage of the platform, the things that our customers you do on the day-to-day basis with the thing. And then finally to the third point of the life cycle and the automations and insight that come once all of that, those documents have been, again, created and signed and the metadata has been extracted. What can you do with it, which is what we covered a little bit before. Alongside this, we've created 3 dedicated teams that each is responsible for one part of the life cycle. We clearly have reintroduced a more focused approach. So we have this notion of big rocks compared to pebbles and sand to guide us in terms of making sure we work on things that have a material impact. And most importantly, and you hopefully have seen a difference in the last several months, we have a lot more engagements with all of you as customers. We've not started any major work, since April, with that 1 or 2 of you directly participating in the discussion, definition, design of the work that is being worked on. A little bit later on, Ludovic will give us a quick demo of our AI feature, our first AI release. As part of that release, we had 27 customers joining for 2 months to get it to the point where it's going to production in a matter of days. And you'll see this continuing approach from our part to really make sure that you're in the center of the decisions and the process. So I'll go into quickly here to cover what each of the team is really focusing on. This initial team, which Ludo is the product manager, is really looking at how to leverage AI to make it a lot faster for you to ingest not only the agreements, but the critical data that is contained into those agreements. And we'll demo that in a minute. We're looking at solving key issues around, how you set up Concord across multiple teams and other things of that nature. And we'll be working on new user onboarding a bit later on. Those are the major themes for that group. And without further ado, I will let Ludo, I'm going to stop sharing so that Ludo can jump in and share with you the work that is about to be released on the AI topic. Ludo?
Thank you, Bernard, for the introduction. So I'm very happy to share what we've all the work we've accomplished in the past few months, which revolves, like Bernard said, around our AI initiatives that mainly solve one of the pain points that you may face today, and that we believe we can solve with it by unlocking the data from your agreement without having you to input them manually one by one. So how basically does it work today? So here I'm gonna start with a template for the sake of the demo, but it works for multiple types of documents, whether it is PDF, Word, or even a blank document. So any documents are covered with this use case. And here I'm gonna start with a standard sales agreement that you can see that basically has a lot of information in forms of a content. But when you see the panel here, there is, most of the time you will be, requested to fill those information manually. So, for example, here, one of the key data that we are able to extract, the most important one is the life cycle. So, for example, here, if I mention that my contract here is a 1 year initial term, and you need, for example, 60 days to notice to not renew it. Here you can see, so the data has been saved, and if I have I have the ability to now extract it, and I am notified that the extraction is launched. So we are scanning, our AI is scanning the content of the document to retrieve essentially 3 types of information: the parties, the descriptions, and, like I said, the full life cycle. So today, most of them are empty. And within just a few seconds, you are able to pull all those information. So, for example, there was this data, like 1 year initial term, that now you can see here, 1 year duration with 60 days notice, and all the other information are supposed to match, of course. And another thing that are also interesting is that the AI is capable of not only extracting, but also comparing what you've typed to also inform you if there is any data to enrich. So within 1 click, I am capable of adding third parties here that is mentioned, and even correct, for example, the parties that was mentioned as Concord Inc. for the sake of the exercise. So what's very nice is that even if I start to the contract, the data are always maintained. You can always refresh even if you make a change. So, for example, let's say now I have 2 years, 2 years now terms based on the negotiation, and I am capable of refresh that data, and you should see an update in the lifecycle suggested in the same way that what I did with the parties. And yeah, it's just a few seconds here. You also notice that the summary panel is changed. The design of the summary panel is changed. It's purely cosmetic. There is no functional beside the AI. We made it to really, I would say, improve the experience around the AI, to review the data, to make it easier for you. So now if I have the suggestions, and it takes in consideration the update I've made, okay? Final things I wanted to share with that is you also have the possibility, for example, to see those data in your deadlines and reminder. It's not just data, it's also, information for you to be able to act on. So, for example, there was a lot of deadlines, here. And so from the webinar that we have today, you can see the deadline, the 2 types of deadlines. So the notification of non-renewal and the end of the contract that is updated. And of course, you will receive your deadline reminders, same as today.
Ludo, you have a question in the chat from Annie Bolsagian. Sorry if I misstated your name, but will the AI be able to pull tags as well?
No, it's not gonna pull tag as well. We actually have plans to enhance the possibility to extract more data. For now, this is the scope, but we are, in our roadmap, I'm sure we will share more things about it, to be able to share more data. It might not be the tags in itself, but it might be another kind of data that Zainab will share with you, that you will be able to also use even with better flexibility than tags today. There is also another question that is very important. Will this work for documents created outside of Concord? The question is yes. If you upload a PDF, it will automatically scan the data and behave the same way that I've just demoed for a template.
Thank you, Ludovic, and please keep the questions coming either in the chat or the Q&A. We'll try to get to you as quickly as possible. This is really exciting, and this is coming to production next week. So hopefully many of you will start using and giving us more feedback. Lisa has another question in the chat for you. What if the start date isn't stated?
So if the start date isn't stated, the AI might not be extracted, of course, and you will be able to add it manually. But if it is stated later, you can still refresh the extractions to, basically pull the data when the date is available for it to be extracted.
Okay, I guess I will resume the presentation. Let me share my screen again.
Lisa had another question here, Ludo. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Bernard, but Lisa also wants to know, is the description the document title? She wants to know.
The description is, we can see it as a short summary of the contract in itself. It's mainly that. So it's not directly related to the title, but mostly the content of the contract. So pretty useful when you want to search, with advanced text capabilities to retrieve the contract. The description might help you to pull the contract.
All right. So this was, a highlight of a feature that this first team is working on. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. The second team is working again on what we label internally everyday usage, and thinking about removing, the friction on all of the basic steps of usage of the product on a day-to-day basis. So that team has been working on, things that you've seen recently. Many of you have seen recently have been the changes in the inbox and filters that have been released. So that's the type of feature that team is working on. And they will, look at other ways for customers to deploy Concord more effectively across multiple teams within an organization. So that's the charter of this team. And the third one, which is our lifecycle automation and insight, is really looking at eventually delivering what we call trigger action workflows. So the ability, based on the stage of a document or some other event, to do something. So a simple example is, if the contract amount of this agreement is over $10,000, you want the renewal to have a specific approval workflow. In that case, that's the type of automation that the team will enable you in the near future. We're also looking at enabling better business reporting from the data that we have currently captured, and the data that, as Ludo just demonstrated, you will be able to automatically harvest from your documents moving forward. And so, without further ado, I will introduce Zeneb, who's our product manager for that team. And Zeneb will do a quick demo of what we call custom document properties, which is a foundational feature that will support a lot of this vision. So start to share on my side. So Zeneb, you can go ahead and do the demo.
Thank you, Bernard. Hi, everyone. So as Bernard and Ludo already teased me, I'm the product manager responsible for the automation and reporting section, and I started with enhancing the sorry, I'm trying to share my screen at the same time, but it seems like I cannot. Okay, it's okay now. So yeah, as I said, my scope is to enhance the reporting section. Do you see my screen? Does everyone see my screen? Yeah, okay. Great. So we have started our evolutions to enhance the Concord application to create a new foundation, to build a foundation to enable you to have better reporting. So to do that, we have started with creating the possibility for you to create your own custom properties and to apply them into documents and then to be able to do reporting on it. So I will start with showing you how to do that. And this feature will be actually available next week. So you will have in your automation section a new subsection called properties, where you can build and create your own properties. You have for now 4 types. You can choose different type of fields, either short text, number, single select, or multi-select. For example, if I want to create a new one, you want to actually track if you have confidentiality clause, for example, on your contract. You can create, single select, for example, and decide whether the answer is yes or no. Save it. And now, you can have a library with all your properties displayed in it. For your information, to create properties will be available only for admins. So only admins will have the permission to create as many properties as they want with the 4 properties type. So as I said, number, short text, single, and multi-select. And then you can apply them directly into your documents. So if I go to documents, I can, for example, select a template. And here in your document summary, you will have the possibility to add the properties you have already, the admins have already created. And every users with their editing right on the document panel will be able to add them and to edit them. So for example, I will choose to add the property I have already created, for example, the billing one. And I can either choose to fill the value at the template level or not. I can also add a blank property. And then, in the document panel, you can also add as many properties as I want. And then when you start draft, actually your properties you have already added in the template will be displayed on the drafts. And if you have already filled a value, it will be displayed here. If you didn't, it will be blank, and the user can always edit the value and change it. So this is the case for templates, but the document properties can be added on any stage of the document. For example, unlike the smart fields, you can add them also on side documents. Okay, so yeah, you can really do whatever you want with it. You can leave them in blank or fill them whenever you want. So this is the first step. As I said, the launch will be for next week. And you have for now 4 properties type available, but we are going to also release 2 new types by the end of next month, the date field and the currency field. So you will be able, for example, to add a property with a certain amount of money to track. And all of this is the foundation to be able to report on that later. So the idea that of the releases that we wanted to do in 3 iterations. So the first one is the ability to create your own properties, your own custom properties on the library and add them into documents. And later you will be able to display them in columns, either in the exports or in the inbox or reports. And also after that, the 3rd iteration, which will be in September, will be about filtering. So we'll be able to filter your inbox with your custom properties and also create reports with those kind of filters. So do I have any question? Is there any question for me?
This looks like more of a question for Ludo about, can we turn off AI or customize part of the AI? Like, what if I don't want AI to populate the description or the life cycle?
So it's more a question for Ludo, right?
It is, yeah. It looks like Ludo is on mute right now.
Okay.
Although, Zainab, there's a second question for you. What are the 4 property types?
So yeah, it's number. For now, it's number, short text with a limit of 256 characters, drop down, multi-select, and single select. So those are the 4 types available from next week. And then, as I said, we will add the date field type and the currency field type.
And there's another question, a good question from Jess that asks, what is different about those custom document properties compared to the tags?
Yeah, very good question. Here you have a library, actually, and when you create, you will have better visibility on what is created, and when you make exports, you will be able to visualize them in separate columns, and eventually one day the tags will migrate into this this new feature. It's an enhanced tag.
I would add, you can also think of a tag as being a type of itself of a property, right? So it makes it more exhaustive.
Yes.
Back, Ludo, since you're back, the question from Lisa about, can we turn off the AI or customize it? For example, I don't want AI to populate the description or the life cycle.
Yeah, sorry, I was lost in my windows. Basically, we can turn it off, but it's 100% of all the data or nothing. You have to choose whether you have the AI or not. We aren't able to customize the level at the section level. However, what is important to know is that if you have added data manually, even if AI is extracted, the AI will not override your data or whatever. So even if, for example, you have a template or you add things before triggering the AI will not have an effect on your data. So it's also important to note, if you are concerned about the way the data are extracted and you don't want them to be, you can just type something instead.
So I think, Lisa, this is a really good request.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like, if we see more customers like you asking for this type of configuration and setup, we definitely will consider it. I think we are just at the very beginning of our roadmap when it comes to this feature. There's a lot of plans over the next several quarters to make it better. So please, do not hesitate to provide more feedback. But as Ludo mentioned, the first step is the AI will not overwrite anything that you've created manually or before. It will only provide suggestion at that stage, so that you get to choose if you take the AI version or if you keep what you have. Maybe, Zainab, if you stop presenting, I can resume finish on our side. And let me share the screen again and go back on slide mode. So what I wanted to share here is, and we will make the video and the deck available to all of you that have registered and participated in this webinar, but we have a lot of new things coming to Concord by the end of the year. We, as I just said, this AI extraction is the very first release. We have a lot of improvements are going to come to it by September. We also are integrating, some of the work from the other teams. So what Zeynep walked you through will be also integrated with the AI, so that eventually, if you decide to create a custom property, for example, jurisdiction, and we will allow you to then also set up AI to look for the jurisdiction later on and automate the data capture and so forth. So there's a lot of things coming, but more importantly, I think the message I want to share today is that we really want to listen and get your feedback on the multiple ways to do that. I will turn it to Benji to walk you through there and then engage the conversation here.
Yeah. Excuse me. So I want to talk about some ways that we can work together. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of everything that you saw today from the product team was born out of conversations we've been having over the past 8+ years with customers like you. So that will continue to be the case as we build our product even further. So yes, number one, overall, we do need your feedback, whether that's in this chat right now or directly to your CSM afterwards. This is our chance. This is what we're building for the rest of the year. This is what we're focused on. We'd love to have your thoughts on whether we're skiing in the right direction. So please give us your feedback. I'm assuming everybody on this call is able to contact their customer success manager. That would be Blake or Caleb or Vanessa. If for whatever reason you don't have their contact information, you can always reach out to support@concord.app, and that will find its way in the right direction. That will be answered by a real person. Her name is Tori, and she's great. And many of you have probably interacted with her already. But that's all going to find its way to our product team as well. Excuse me, who's covering for Blake? Me and Vanessa and Caleb, and happy to announce Blake had a baby girl born on the 4th of July. So that he'll be out for a little bit on paternity leave, but a beautiful, healthy baby girl. Thank you.
Benji, can you put the information on how to reach support on the chat here?
Yes, of course. I'll put the email address in there, support@concord.app. And that is where you can reach out to our support team directly. Also, if you're interested in helping us define and develop new features, we'd love to have beta users. So thank you. If you want to just let us know, like, hey, I'll be a beta tester for anything that you guys roll out, let your CSM know, and then you'll be at the top of our Rolodex. But also, when we reach out periodically to identify people who might want to participate in betas, trust me, what you saw today did not look that good before we got it in front of some beta testers. And so that's how this product gets much better. I see Ludo smiling at that. We had a lot of great engagement from our beta group for the AI. So if you want to help us make things better, please partner with us and give us your feedback on early stages of product. That's how you can really make an impact on things.
And if I may interrupt Benji for a second, when we use the word beta here, but it starts before beta, right? Even before we start developing something, we're looking for customers to suggest areas of work and help us define what potentially we should be working on way before it gets built. So we're really looking for engaging with some of you and understand your use cases and really understand, if they can apply to a majority or a significant number of our customer base, and then we can integrate them. So it's really more than just playing with buggy software. It's really helping us early, decide, is this the right solution to the problem and so forth. So if you have the time and the interest for this, we would really welcome to work with you.
That's exactly
Thank you,
right. Benji. Number 4, set up quarterly business reviews with your CSM. I'm not expecting any of you to reach out to your CSM and say, hey, show me some stats. But you'll be hearing from your CSMs over the next couple of weeks to set up some time to do a QBR, quarterly business review. What is that? If you haven't done them before, it's a chance for us to just align on what's important for you right now. What are you working on as a business? What are your goals over the next couple of quarters? And how can Concord help? That's kind of the overarching approach here. Yes, we will show you some stats and some figures, and we'll get more in the weeds on the product pipeline here, but we want to hear what's working, what's not, your day-to-day experience, and what's important to you going forward. So again, that can get funneled up to our product team as well. And who knows, maybe we already have something built that you didn't know about and it would help you today. That's the kind of stuff that we can uncover on a quarterly business review. Trust me, it's a good use of your time. And the last bit, this is a little bit of a shameless plug, but trust me, it helps. Your reviews and referrals really, really go a long way. Whether it's on Google or Capterra, reviews help other people know what we do here, and your experience on Concord is invaluable to other people who could be looking for a solution similar to us. And referrals, I'm not just asking that to help with our revenue numbers, but y'all are really, you came to this webinar because you care. You're great customers of ours. You probably know great people too who would make more great customers of ours. And the more great people like you that we get into the Concord network, the more feedback we get, the better the product gets overall, and the better experience you'll have using Concord for yourself. So that was my way of twisting a referral to be self-serving for you, but it's also very helpful for us as well. So you leave us a review when you have the opportunity, and if you know somebody who would make who Concord could help out, please do send them our way. That can go to your CSM as well, or of course to support@concord.app. We're a small team. We can get stuff in the right direction. We can put somebody in touch with our sales team if that's necessary. But those are the ways that we can work together, among others. But we appreciate all the feedback so far on the call.
Thank you for everyone for attending, and we look forward to your feedback on what we shared. And this was the first time we do this product roadmap webinar. I'm sure we have